I knew that I couldn't have a daddy-daughter dance because my dad, he can't dance, he's too sick. So David suggested a dance with my daughters instead. It just seemed just natural. They've been with me for so much of this, for everything. All the ladies on the dance floor, and the vision was just to make it this big, huge group of women dancing together. It was incredible.
Hey friends, it's Katie from Without a Crystal Ball. Welcome back to my channel. It is Wednesday, January 10th, 2024. Rather than going through the brand new clip, which is from Christine and David's wedding, just showing her dancing with her daughters and then a bigger group dance, I thought we could talk about how I think someone connected to Kody is currently running to the tabloids because Miss Christine is getting good press, and so now we need to try to give her bad press, and it is all about how everyone is worried about Christine's new marriage and how she's moving too fast and how her daughters are not accepting David. Now, I don't know where this is coming from. I got a hunch it's Kody or Robyn. And I'm also going to talk to you about something that someone in Meri's family, someone like, I guess, a distant relative of Meri, but close enough to know, reached out to me yesterday and gave me some insight about her and Robyn's relationship and how far removed Meri has been from the family for a very long time, and how everything about the storyline about Meri and Robyn and Kody is super fake for the show. So Meri Brown's fake relationship with Robyn and Christine Brown's too fast marriage and her daughters hate David video, according to Kody. I mean, a source. Let's dive into the topic. Before we do, make sure to give this video a thumbs up. Make sure to subscribe to my channel if you haven't subscribed, and click on the bell so you never miss a video. So last night, I got a message from someone that's related by a degree of separation from Meri. I know it sounds weird, but I promise you it's like that in the Apostolic United Brethren. And they reached out to share some information about sort of their thoughts about what's going on with polygamy in the state of Utah. And we got into a conversation about Meri, Kody, Robyn, the family, the show. And I just wanted to share a few pieces of information about what they said to me about the family, the current state of the family, and just some overall concerns and backstory. So this person has known Meri and the family for decades and apparently grew up with Meri's family and grew up in Lehigh, so knows everyone that's associated here. And apparently, back when Kody was married to the OG3, the kids, even though they were living in the AUB and they were living in a polygamous group, they still had social outlets and they had more exposure to the real world, even though they grew up in a cult. But they said that since Kody has gotten with Robyn, that they have become more controlling and they can't figure it out. They said, the isolation of all the kids is a mess. It's way more extreme than we ever saw with Leon. Apart from the church school, the kids actually had more local involvement than I've ever seen with Robyn's kids. I think Robyn might be more of the catalyst than Kody. So they went on to say that Robyn seems to be ultra paranoid. I have never met her because we are from that side of the family, but from what I've seen on the show and what I know about them through Meri, Kody and Robyn just seem to feed off each other's delusions. I want to clarify, when she says that she's never met Robyn because she's from the other side of the family, she means that Kody won't let his wives associate with people that he deems are not good people that might not be following the doctrine, people that are connected to Meri. So Kody is controlling who Robyn can meet, who she can talk to, who the other wives can meet, who the other wives can talk to, and that because as soon as Robyn came into the picture, Meri was immediately on the outs with him. That's what they said, that Robyn never met a lot of people because anyone that was connected to Meri didn't have any interactions with Robyn because Kody didn't want Robyn exposed to anyone connected to Meri because they're a bad influence and wayward. That's what they said. So this person grows up in the same area of Lehigh. We got into a conversation about the investigation into the Browns and whether or not this investigation was legitimate and really what the status of what they recall happened. And I know we've covered this before, but they said the state basically wanted to make it clear that they would not condone a family literally parading the fact that they were living against the laws of the state. They either gave up the show or they moved. It was also a district attorney at the time wanting to make a statement. It was my understanding that he took on the investigation to make an example of them and then realized from public backlash it was a bad idea. It carried on so long because he was planning to retire soon. He had a 100% conviction rate at the time, so he simply decided to leave with that lovely record and pass the problem on that he created to the next guy, who promptly dismissed the case. They said, I asked them if they could have stayed and quit the show had they not wanted to go on and make money, and they said, yes, 100%. Although they may have been able to keep the show because it is entirely possible that they might have won their case if criminal charges would have been brought against them, but it was a gamble. And I said, so basically Utah just didn't want them profiting off the promotion of a crime, and they said, yes, you nailed it. As far as where the Browns stood with their church when they made the decision to go public, this I thought was interesting. They said the Browns were in great standing with the group before they decided to film. The leader of the group actually told Kody in Revelation that if he chose to embrace the reality show, it would lead to the destruction of his family. There was a lot of mixed reactions within the group about how he felt about their becoming public for quite a while. By the time the show started to edit and to actually show some of the dysfunction within the group told Kody that he would never be welcomed back. So another thing that they mentioned in here was that Meri had remained close with her family and also remained close with, do you remember her sister Teresa that passed away? She remained close with some of Teresa's kids and from time to time would go to events for her sisters, her nieces and nephews, or family like weddings, funerals, those kind of events. And that Meri would always come to the events alone. And I said, when I said, why didn't Kody ever come? They said because Meri was on the outs with Kody would never have attended any event with Meri because of the example it would set to the other wives. And that as a result of that, Meri and Robyn didn't spend much of any time together. And it had to do with the fact that Meri was considered, another source told me, too worldly because she had friends outside of the family. So when she made the decision to do the catfishing, she basically stepped outside the comfort zone of the family. And she decided to make friends with people outside of the family and without other family members present. She also bought the inn against Kody's wishes and made the decision to purchase the inn and run the inn, but Kody wasn't in agreement of it. So she was doing things for herself. And the more disobedient she was to Kody and the more self-confident she became for herself, Kody just sort of pushed her out, and really no one in the family, according to this source, was really allowed to have a relationship with her because they didn't want Meri to influence the other wives negatively or the kids. So she was ostracized to set an example, and Meri was just sort of left on her own, which apparently happens all the time. So basically what they said is the relationship between Kody, Meri, and Robyn was non-existent because Kody would have never allowed it. And so when Jen is on the show and she's saying that they've made plans and then Robyn cancels, the other source I spoke to said that's because Kody would never allow a wife that's loyal to him to be with a wife that's disloyal to him. He would classify Meri having friends outside of the culture as disloyal. He would classify Meri purchasing a home without his approval disloyal. He would classify Meri doing the catfishing as disloyal. Really anything that he doesn't agree to allow her to do because she wasn't supposed to push back on him for anything. And Kody wouldn't have wanted her to influence Robyn negatively. So Meri and Robyn really didn't have a relationship, and Meri really didn't have a relationship with the family. That's what this source says. So, and they said this happens with wives all the time. So when you're watching the show, Meri says, I don't really ever talk to Robyn. She doesn't even really ever text me, but then Robyn's crying about her staying. It could be that Robyn wants a relationship with Meri, but Kody will not allow it. You know what I mean? And so she's trying to help them bridge a gap so that she can have that relationship back, or she's just playing the part for cameras. But what you see on TV is not for real. And as far as like, I have talked to so many family members that know the Browns and are members of their family that have said the show is not truthful, and they really do fabricate so many of these storylines for drama and for the TV show. Okay, so Meri's relationship with Robyn is not allowed because Kody basically shunned her from the family before he ever really let her go. Let's discuss these quote unquote articles that apparently are from Kody Brown. And this has to do with Meri, with Christine Brown. And this is coming from The Sun. And I only say that this is Kody Brown coming to you because almost every negative story in the last 2 years about Christine has been through a source that contacts The Sun. And it almost always follows the exact same narrative that Kody pushes about Christine on the show. I don't know if it's Kody doing it, if it's Robyn doing it, if it's one of their kids doing it, or if he's having one of their friends do it. But it's clearly this narrative, I believe, is coming from Kody's side, because this doesn't sound comparable to anybody I've spoken to about Christina and David. And I have spoken to people that have expressed concerns. Trust me, many people that I've spoken to that know Christine have expressed concerns, but it's not because they think she's too in love with Kody. They've expressed concerns because when you come out of this culture, which is high control based on fear, and women have no autonomy, and they've been conditioned their whole life to believe they cannot be without a man, that it's sometimes hard for women to adjust to being single. And so they gravitate to going into a new relationship because they don't know how, and they've been told their whole lives that they can't be complete without a man. And as a result of their system and being conditioned to narcissistic abuse, it is not uncommon for another woman to rebound into a bad relationship with another man that is abusive. I am certainly not saying this about David. That is just coming from other women that have left polygamy, that have had their own rebounds, that had their own marriages that ended up in divorce because they wanted love so bad and they made an impulsive decision believing they had found love and then ended up with someone like their ex-husband. That's the concern. It had nothing to do with Christine loving Kody. In fact, everyone I've spoken to believes she doesn't love Kody. Okay, so here's what the article says. It says, not warming up, Sister Wives star Christine Brown's daughters Isabel and Aspen refused to get attached to David. This is what the source said. They 100% have their guard up. The reason why the girls are not into him is because they refuse to get attached, which doesn't make sense. They're not into him because they refuse to get attached. Okay. They have some doubts and believe it's not going to last. That's not them trying to say, we wish our mom bad or we don't want her to be happy. They just understand that naturally you have to get over your first heartbreak before you can move on with someone new. We don't really know where she's at with her heartbreak. We don't really know where she's at with her new life. We know that on the show, she has to pretend like she's dealing with heartbreak. She could have been over Kody for years. They might still think that I don't know. This is why it sounds like it's from Kody, because check this out. This is what the source says. She is still in love with him, despite what she has said on the show. She's never gotten over him. Her moving on so quickly with David is all because she was seeking attention and he gave it to her. Oh, so she's just looking for attention and David's just happened to be the guy that gave it to her, and she's still in love with Kody. This is why I think this is Kody or one of Kody's associates, maybe Robyn. Okay, so Christine is still in love with Kody, according to the source, which Kody, we know it's you that's the source. Apparently, they're also saying that Kody is in control of the Sister Wives contract. And it said, when it comes to the show, Kody will not allow Christine to break away and do her own thing completely. That was a conversation they had when she was moving. Christine is part of the Sister Wives umbrella, together or not, and therefore Kody has a say whether he lets her out of it or not. The source went on to say that since they still have their TLC contracts in place to film another season, they are somewhat forced to remain in each other's lives, and Kody's the head of the contract since it's his show. It will forever be his show. He doesn't need Christine to be a part of it, but he's doing it because that's what fans want, and that's what brings the drama. I just want to clarify something here. It is Kody's show. The show contract was primarily in his name. However, once all of the ladies split, contracts were reformulated, and Christine has her own contract, Janelle has her own contract, and Meri has her own contract. And all contracts can be changed anytime up for renewal. So just because the current contract is under Kody's name, that doesn't mean that when a renewal happens that TLC won't drop him. There's no reason to believe it's his show anymore, because Kody has become a liability to show producers with his antics, with his drama, with his temper, with his anger, with his off-camera behavior. He's unhinged, and fans don't like him. And yes, he brings drama, and yes, he creates a narrative, and yes, it creates talking points. But if fans grow tired of that and Kody produces more problems on the set than he's worth, they will have no problem restructuring the show and move it towards something for, like, say, Christine, Janelle, and Meri, and moving on after polygamy. Kody is just arrogant in believing that he will always have control. And this kind of feels a little bit like, I'd heard a rumor, and it's just a rumor, so take this with a grain of salt, that Kody was using the show to control his wives. The rumor goes that Kody might be trying to get copies of raw footage of his wives so that he knows what they're doing, his ex-wives. So he has an actual idea of what they're saying about him on camera. He's almost using the show in a way the rumor is to stalk them. Like, he wants production to tell them exactly what they're doing. He wants producers to tell him what they're saying about him. He wants to see all the raw footage. According to the rumor I heard, he's making producers uncomfortable and production uncomfortable. That's alleged. I don't know if it's all for true. Take it for what it's worth. And another source said that Kody's behavior on set has become really unhinged and really unstable, and he is starting to make production and the network uncomfortable. And because he was married for such a long time, the other rumor is that he's becoming more hard to contain. And some of his beliefs are going to apparently maybe no longer to be covered for. There is a lot they have been covering for Kody for years. And I hate to be the one to bear the news to you. They are covering for Kody's racism, and they're covering for Kody's anti-LGBTQ plus beliefs, and they're really covering for his super, super right-wing, anti-government, like, dangerous political beliefs. I am not talking about your average Republican. If you're an average Republican, you are not Kody Brown. We are talking about an extremist. And these are aspects of Kody that the network has known about the entire time and just leaves on the cutting room floor. So without having all of these women around to contain him, very well could make it harder for networks to want to hang on to him. He can become a liability. And the times have changed since when Sister Wives went on air. The tides have shifted. People don't want to watch a man be abusing women anymore. That we're moving more towards stories of a redemption arc, of women empowerment, women surviving great obstacles, women surviving abuse and trauma, coming out on the other side. And so watching men sort of berate and beat them isn't very 2024 anymore. Fit into the narrative years ago, but not anymore. So I don't know if that means the show will eventually get rid of him, but if he stays on this trajectory, I think his job is on the line. And so this leak by who I believe is Kody is in my opinion, to get ahead of a narrative. That's just my opinion. And so I'm just sharing the rumor I heard because it kind of matches what I was told. Okay. So apparently they're also saying that Christine's friends are concerned because they feel she rushed into her marriage. So they're also saying that Christine has changed. A lot of people in Christine's inner circle are concerned about her quick marriage to David. They just aren't going around voicing it to everyone because they don't want to take away from Christine's happiness and having her moment. But they feel like she rushed into this marriage and that she's not the same person after romancing David. Christine wasn't going to be the same person regardless because she's leaving fundamentalism. Is her new husband going to influence what she's into and the activities that she gets herself involved in? Sure. But she's not going to be the same fundamentalist Christine. So a lot of their concerns coming from her circle, you have to remind yourself, are from fundamentalists. Okay. So any level of change is going to be like devil. She's totally different with him. She's showing off her tattoos and she's doing things she's never done before. And she's showing her wild side that people have never seen before. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing. It just, friends are concerned that she might be forgetting her roots and how she was raised. This is why I think the source is Kody. Kody hates tattoos and he absolutely hates drinking I think he drinks, but on the surface, he says he hates drinking. So they're also complaining to the Sun that they don't think that she's actually in love with David. They say they're not completely sure she's actually in love with him. Most of her inner circle is having a hard time believing that it's true love and she fell in love so fast. So apparently it's all about attention seeking, which again tells me it's Kody, because Kody always says that she is all about drama and attention. Okay, so here's the situation. If she moved on too fast and if it rebounds and it doesn't work out and they end up divorcing, she's an adult, life will move on, she'll live, she'll learn, and fans can make their decision on whether or not they still want to ride or die with Christine, or if they still want to just watch her live and do her thing. Or fans can say she's all drama, I don't believe anything she says. Or you can maybe empathize with her and the position she's in with leaving a narcissistic abuser, and that now she's free and she's also leaving a cult, and so her whole world is completely changed. And you can also empathize with the fact that, of course, people that she left in fundamentalism aren't going to approve of what she's doing, because they always call women that do this kind of stuff wicked and devilish, and they're going to hell and they're Satan. The last thing they want to see is women actually enjoying themselves. I think it's Kody or one of his friends and Meri and Robyn's fake relationship. Tell me what your thoughts are in the comments below. Bye, guys.